Rapid fire ways I commit daily to being future me. Manifestation must be results-based. Otherwise, it's just a fantasy. It's a discipline that must be applied and mastered. Emphasis on applied. I'm gonna give you 10 daily habits I do that you can implement immediately. First thing is I always give myself proof of I can change my state at any time. It's not that complicated. The mechanisms are the same. So you know how you can go out to coffee with a friend and all of a sudden you forget about the bills you have to pay, you put on a comedy podcast and suddenly like you forget about the shitty assignment you had at work. You can change your state at any time and shift your mood from heaviness and despair to levity in a literal instant. Like literally either just by taking your consciousness off the problem. This is what Neville Goddard talks about state. Throughout a single day, we will shift through many states. The goal is number one, to be able to recognize when you have shifted out of a state. Number two, be able to shift back into a state at will, first through using tools. The third stage is being able to conjure those feelings and those states at will. Use what you need in the meantime. So for me, like I fucking love comedy podcasts. I'm a big comedy podcast girl. I love comedy because it's like, dude, life is not that fucking serious. Like I think a big part of why I'm such a successful manifestor is like, I've never lost sense with my sense of play. You want to be playful with life. You want to be playful with life. This is coming from someone who has been through physical, sexual, emotional abuse. You want to be playful with life. There's a TikTok sound. It's a Jim Rohn sound. You can just type in "you'd be up early too." Listen to sounds like that. Literally look up Ric Flair, Top Gun, edit, like whatever you need. I look that up when I need some fucking oomph, when I need to feel inevitable. I listen to that Jim Rohn sound when I need to feel motivated. You can use these things to shift your state. This is how you create energy at will. Get up in the morning, you put in a happy playlist, your state is gonna change. Let it take over you. Number two is you pick your own parent. So if you were raised in an abusive household, or you never really learned how to talk kindly to yourself, or you don't even really know how to gentle parent yourself, you're gonna pick a new locus of control. Whether that's Neville Goddard, whether that's Abraham Hicks rampages. You're gonna have a new locus of reference for you to land in, for you to spiritually land in and orient to. And you wanna visit at least once a day, but maybe even multiple times a day when you're starting out. So for me, I'll bookend my day with a lot of audio. So in the morning, I'm starting with the morning Abraham Hicks rampage. It's on YouTube. But I'm also listening to activations throughout the day. When I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning, I'm listening to Lucky Girl affirmations on the Activations app. I'm listening to Edward Art on YouTube, Neville Goddard. Things that are bringing me comfort and helping me reorient my consciousness again and again to a consistent landing spot that is loving, kind, and certain. I wasn't given the tools to understand how to emotionally regulate, how to be kind for myself. I didn't have people in my family who could listen or even understand and acknowledge the horrors I went through. Cool, I'll hire a therapist. You're gonna do whatever is required to fill the needs that your avatar needs in order to level up to the next level, in order to create the somatic safety and the nervous system safety for you to feel safe enough to start making big changes. Number three is understanding that if it worked on you, it'll work for you. So you thinking, oh, manifestation doesn't work on me. Like I can't actually change who I am because I went through so much abuse. That's actually just a belief. So like you thinking that you're unworthy, you thinking that you're inept, you thinking that like nothing good ever happens to you, you're a piece of shit. Like all of that stuff was just installation. It was just coded into you by the people that raised you or the bullies that you grew up with. None of it is actually true. Because remember, truth just comes down to perception. What do you mean manifestation's not gonna work on you? Didn't the flaws of your upbringing work on you? Wouldn't you defend those till you die? This is the mechanics itself. This is exposing the mechanics. Neuroplasticity shows if it worked on you, it will work for you. This is the same thing with the positive form of gaslighting yourself into having expansive beliefs. It just comes down to subconscious reprogramming. So the program of, oh, I'm a piece of shit and actually like I'm a huge victim of my life and like literally life has screwed me over, like I can't catch a fucking break. That is just a program that has been installed that you can override with a new program. It might take more time because remember, that was like passively installed. It was passively installed. This is going to be a little bit more of a quote unquote struggle, tension, because you're doing it with consciousness versus just you being like a 5-year-old or a middle schooler, like just having this happen to you. So that's where some of the resistance is going to come in, but it's 100% possible. And I've done it. I stopped hanging out with people who are jealous of me, who are unsupportive, who are passive aggressive, or who I felt like I needed to prove myself to. Anybody who my intuition felt like there's actually something going on here. I just don't hang out with those people. People who have bad intentions for you or really disturb your peace, just block them. Just block them. You need to be ruthless with prioritizing your frequency. So there are even family members who I no longer have contact with because it's toxic. And as painful as it is, that is how much I am committed to myself and my experience and my soul's experience on this planet. I also try to keep my space as beautiful as possible within the resources that I have, which means keeping it clean. Every single day I clean my place, I clean my space. It's respect. And the reason I do that is because I'm treating this space how I'm gonna treat my dream space. Also, you wanna intentionally create space for boredom. So think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The bottom one is like food and shelter and belonging. The top one is self-actualization. So you are actually very lucky if you have the space and the disposable time and freedom to start thinking about how you want to optimize your life. But even though so many of us are in this top part of the pyramid, we aren't actually having the experience of being in it. The way that you have the experience of having your baseline abundance needs met is by creating space in your day. Time is big wealth. The author of Dopamine Nation talks about how like we're losing the ability to have an original thought. And the reason that creating time and space for boredom is so important is because it's connected to abundance and expansion. If you have time to self-actualize, you are in baseline abundance, and you need to start creating that space for your system to realize like, oh, I'm not being eaten. Okay, now let me actually think about what is my chief aim? What do I really want to manifest? Every day, energetic composting, I spend 15 to 20 minutes lying flat on the ground, or at least with my bare feet on the ground on grass. Do this while listening to solfeggio frequencies, or 432 hertz or 528 hertz. It's a great passive way for you to reduce inflammation, reduce cortisol, and recalibrate your body's frequency. Just imagine all the doubt, confusion, pain, fear, just being composted into the ground beneath me. So we're connecting, remember, the mind and the body. That's setting an extra intention, and it means extra cleansing. Okay, also reality breaking. Every single week, I love routines, but I make sure to do this thing that I call reality breaking, which is breaking the pattern. Our subconscious runs on patterns. And so by just going to a different coffee shop or taking a left on a street when I would usually take a right, that is telling my subconscious mind, hey, something different is happening here. And that makes it fertile ground for other changes you want to start implementing. Because your subconscious is tracking patterns, this is why manifestation magic really comes down to the mundane. So this is why doing things as simple as like getting rid of every single piece of clothing that doesn't represent future you. So for example, I used to have like all these cute ratty Urban Outfitters t-shirts or just like free t-shirts I collected that I would sleep in. I threw all of those away. 8 months ago when I started this TikTok, I really started pruning my closet because I was like, no, my chosen character, she doesn't wear ratty shit at home just because no one's gonna see it. She is her character all the damn time. And because my subconscious saw, oh, she's like throwing away all the clothes that she was saving for one day, or because they cost money, and it just saw me making the choice. It doesn't fucking matter. This doesn't align with who I am anymore. It started becoming much more comfortable with the changes that I needed to make otherwise. In other words, like hanging out with people who brought me down, hanging out with friends who made jealous comments, because I primed my mind and my subconscious saw, oh, we can trust that the changes she's making, A, she's gonna follow through on, and B, she's making these changes consistently and repetitively. We can trust it. You just want to start feeding it tiny cues of your new character. So the simple changes for me was like, I try to eat really high quality food. Nutrition is something huge for me. The clothing, it's an easy aesthetic change. I try to make my space feel as luxurious I can within the income bracket I can. So while I can't be buying Voluspa candles every day, I'll buy like a Target candle every week. And before I was doing that, I was buying the small Trader Joe's candles. Alchemy can happen at any income bracket. So whatever raw materials you have, whether it's giving yourself a little bit more time in the morning to feel like you have a little bit more time luxury, whether it's buying a 100 thread count toilet paper instead of a 10 thread count toilet paper. Like there's these tiny luxuries that all of us can start baking into our day. And it's only in those small changes that our subconscious starts saying, oh, like I can trust this. Like your subconscious isn't going to trust one day you going ham on the elliptical. It is going to trust you getting ready 10 minutes earlier and putting on a little bit of makeup, for example, if that's with your chosen character. Lastly, the biggest thing that changed my entire manifestation game was investing in myself financially and in all the ways. So for example, right now I have a transformative coaching program I'm in, and I'm also in like this astrology coaching container thing for the summer that I'm excited about. And it's just because it's my interest. I invest in my appearance. I invest in my health, in my body, in my workouts, in my nails, and my lashes, and my skincare. I invest my time in my books that I'm reading. Every single thing I'm listening to, it's either for fun or for metaphysical learning. I go to therapy, I do the meditations, I do the journaling, and that's because I know nothing I pour into me it never leaks out the bottom. It just all collects. And the more I pour into me, the more I care about me. So the more time, the more money, the more love, the more care I spend on myself, the better I become. So get obsessed with yourself.